Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing good today. Um, Man, it's been a long week for me, but I'm here and I'm thankful for it. So I hope you guys are doing good today, and yeah, let me know what's going on in the TV community because there's a lot going on for me. Um, I've been looking at a lot of different rumors and stuff and just sorted through kind of the news and the noise that's out there. And I want to talk about some of it. Like a lot of things floating around, when it comes down to is Sony killing OLED TVs? A lot of talk out there. But yeah, I'm on a new streaming platform here today, so like I'm trying things out. So let me know how the quality is. You should be able to go up to 1440p. Eventually, I want to try to get 4K to work, but something going on with the low latency and stuff. So let me look what we got here. So we got Chrome in the house. So what's up? What's up, Chrome? I hope you're doing good, man. Let's see. So forgive me because it's like a learning experience with this new platform I got right here. So um, hey KG, what's up? What's up? Wish I can get that to stay. All right, here we go. We'll pin that over here so I can see it. My bad, guys. My bad, guys. All right, so yeah, yeah. Don't forget the like button. But yeah, not yet, not yet. Only if you like the stream. What's up, MM? All the early birds in the house. Um, Samsung looks really good. S95D. Yeah, we'll talk about that for sure. Flying PJ, what's up, man? How you doing? David, welcome, welcome. Hope all is well. All is well, man. I'm doing pretty good. I can't really complain. So yeah, let's talk about some of these things that are out there right now. And one of the topics I do want to start with is going to be the TV release dates because TV release dates is a commonly asked question around this time. And what I know about all this is like in the past with the S95C last year, it released in February. Typically, you don't see that. So February 14th, I think, was the release date last year. I haven't heard anything about the S95D coming soon. I've heard some people speculate on that, but I don't know where they're getting their information from because I haven't seen anything saying that it's going to be released this month. So like maybe next month is one that you can like look forward to. We'll see though. There's a lot of things that can happen between now and then. But for the S95D, I haven't heard anything. Same thing, the G4 possibly could be one of those things where it releases in the same time frame as the S95D. Last year, the S95C and the G3, they were kind of close and released together, and I was actually um happy for that because I was able to get them both at the same time without any other TVs being out and worrying about covering those TVs. So hopefully this year we're gonna get the same kind of thing where it's like, oh, you got the S95D and then you got the G4 as well at the same time frame. That would be really nice. Yeah. So we're definitely gonna find that out. Um, so I'll kind of talk through the TV release dates and the schedule of where I think TVs are gonna land this year. I think you're gonna start to see the TVs release in March rather than February this year. Just a feeling that I got because you're not really hearing too much information, too much noise right now. And last year around this time, you were hearing about like things leaking out already. Like I said, I think by this time last year, the S95C was already out. But I haven't heard anything like that. So, you know, March is probably the first time I would expect this. Maybe late February, you might start to see some models creep out. And typically, what you see the release schedule look like is you'll get Samsung releasing one of their flagships, and then shortly after that, you got LG, and then shortly after that, Samsung releases the rest of their models, and so does LG, and then you get Sony somewhere around there, and we're still waiting for Sony's announcement, right? And we're gonna talk about Sony in a little bit, but there's definitely a lot of noise around Sony and what they're gonna do, and I've got some thoughts on that for sure. So yeah, um, definitely if you guys have questions, make sure you leave them in the chat, and we'll see if we can get everybody's questions answered. So let's see what we got here. We got 87 people watching right now. That's awesome. Thank you guys. 28 likes. I appreciate that. If you guys are enjoying this content and you want to see more in the future, do hit the like button because it's going to help spread it out to more people so that they can see the live stream. A lot of people actually watch this after the fact, and I appreciate you guys that watch it live and the people that watch it afterwards. It means a lot that people actually want to tune in and listen to what I have to say. So that's always cool. But yeah, what TV release are you guys looking forward to the most? That's something I'm wondering. Um, personally, I think I'm looking more forward to the G4. I think what I saw of the G4 has me excited because of the new processor. And what I saw of the G4, I can't really like grasp it in terms of giving you a definitive answer if that processor is really helping. I just like the fact that you can use AI Picture Pro now. They have the AI Picture Pro directorial mode, which is supposed to keep the creator's intent. So I'm interested on how that works as well. Not going to be one that really is going to evaluate that too much. I'll tell you what I think of it, but like I won't be able to be like, oh yeah, this is like what it should look like. Because I'm not somebody that's into the whole reference calibration thing. But I have a good buddy, Classy Calibrations, who is a master at that stuff. So he'll definitely be able to break that down and tell you if it's a gimmick or not. Speaking of Classy, he is doing a live stream tomorrow. So if you guys are interested in building a PC at all, or if you ever had any idea of wanting to build a PC, like that would be a good live stream to tune into because he's gonna be building a PC live. And I'm going to be in that chat and I'm going to moderate the chat. I'm also going to be on the live stream live talking to people, while that's going on, fielding questions. So yeah, definitely tune in to Classy Calibrations tomorrow because he'll be having that cool live stream and just a good way to like just hang out and talk some TVs and even some PC gaming stuff because yeah, he's building a PC. Definitely something I want to do in the future. Maybe not build a PC part, but definitely the gaming PC is in the future for sure. Let me know how the audio is and how the picture looks because this is the first time I've ever used this software. So yeah, it's so far so good. But let's look through chat here. Yeah, Vamps says here, let's make this a little bit bigger. It says I follow news to be honest. Vision Pro ruined any interest in buying a TV. Single and such, so 100-inch screen gets the Vision Pro with micro OLED. Just insane. Did you get it? Did you end up getting it? Because this is something that, man, I really want this. I really want this. I'm gonna be probably taking a trip, and I was thinking that I would want it on an airplane. I think that would be really cool. And yeah, hopefully that's something that can happen in the future. Because the Vision Pro, man, like what FOMO told me so far about it, I'm pretty jealous. I really want one, so definitely looking to get one. So hopefully I can get it before I go on my trip, and that would be nice. Oh, don't want to do that. Okay. I was trying to show a comment and I almost banned Vamps when I was trying to pull up his comment. My bad. He said he bought it. That's good. That's good. Awesome. This is an interesting comment. He said no one should pay more than $500 for a TV. Let the advertiser give the TV away so they can brainwash you. There's actually like a TV that has nothing but ads on it, and it's like you have to always watch ads in order to get the TV, and it's free. It's one of those interesting things where it's like, man, I don't even I don't even know. That sounds so dystopian. Like, I don't even know if I would want that. Um, they already give you a lot of ads, so it's like, yeah. But I don't know, man. If you're paying $500 for a TV, I think you're definitely limiting yourself to what kind of picture quality you're getting. I think the sweet spot is definitely in that 700, $800 range where you can start to really get a nice TV. Um, but under that, like, you can honestly get a TV for $300 and it ends up being the same type of TV as one for $500 or even $600. So, yeah, um, I think like the Hisense U6K last year was a really good entry point where you started to really see uh TVs start to look really good at that price point. Yeah, it kind of does, huh? Yeah, I'm really interested in the Vision Pro, so like for sure, I think that's awesome. Uh, sounds good. A little bit of purple in it. Purple in? What do you mean by that? Are you talking about my sound on the live stream? Purple. All right. Anyway, that one kind of threw me off. Did anybody grab the S89C? I made a video about it. It still is on sale, and we will talk about TV sales a little bit later in the stream. But man, the S89C, that is a good deal. 17.99 for a 77-inch OLED, and it's a cutie OLED. That's pretty crazy. Um, yep. So we got somebody that just bought the S89C, received it today. Awesome. Enjoy that TV. You know, when I first got my 77-inch OLED, I was in heaven for a long time, man. Like, that was around the same time also as when Elden Ring came out. So I was enjoying playing Elden Ring on my 77-inch A80J at the time. The only thing I was lacking was VRR. So I could notice there was a little bit of screen tearing, and that was the time where VRR wasn't released yet for the Sony. And then a week later, they released VRR, and I ended up beating the game that same and like I just binged that game. And I ended up beating it on the A80J because of VRR helped so much in that game. So yeah, that was really cool to see. But 77-inch OLED is something else, man. Something else. Ordered the 77 A80L. Awesome. Yeah, that's a good TV. I just did a review. Well, it's not really a review, it's more of like an overview, talking about what features you get. You know, I don't really like calling things review unless I spend so much time with it. You know, I'm familiar with the A80J, so I was able to make a video on the A80L, and I have the A80L now. So it was just a good time to like showcase the A80L and be like, yeah, this is a good TV. And I think everybody already knew that. Like, I wasn't speaking anything that people didn't already know. But hopefully that video did land pretty good with people. I spent a lot of time making that video, and I liked it. It was a good result. So definitely cool. 77 or 83 inch, what do you prefer? I prefer 83 inch if I can get it and I have the size for it. Now, that said, there is definitely more problems with 83 inch at the moment. You know, they don't have QD OLED, of course. So that is kind of a downside. And then they didn't have MLA, but this year they will have MLA. So, like, I've got my eyes on an 83-inch MLA, especially if it can get to like 3000 nits peak. Now, granted, that's probably not going to happen because it's, you know, the measurements they took was at like 10,000 Kelvin, I think it was said. Um, so yeah, that's something that I don't expect. But, you know, it's cool that we're finally getting brighter OLED TVs in that size. But I haven't actually seen an 83 inch next to a 77 inch. It'd be something interesting to see, like how much of a difference that it does it make. I certainly don't have the space for an 83 inch and a 77 inch next to each other. I mean, I could make it work, but getting the 83 inch up here would be a problem for sure. for sure. So let's look through chat here. My face shows a tad magenta. Let's see if I can fix that. I think it's like because I have this little accent light on. Is that why? So I just flipped it off. Um, I thought it was like something that was gonna help a little bit, but yeah, if it's like making my face look purple, no thanks. I'll turn that off. Um, yeah, hopefully that fixed it. Thank you for the feedback on that. Um, let's see. We gotta find a way to make these bigger. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now I can see chat a lot bigger. Okay. Let me scroll up to the very top of the chat and scroll down. So when it comes down to the release dates though, getting back on topic, sorry for peeling away. Sometimes I do that to look at chat. I just like to interact. But when it comes down to the TV release dates, TCL and Hisense, typically you see those closer to like summertime. So I expect the same thing again from that. But yeah, I mean that's kind of it on the TV release dates. So let me touch on chat a little bit more and see what we got in chat, and then we'll move on to the Sony talk. Yeah, like on the topic of releases, that's a really good question. I don't know why they don't Getty G man. I don't know why they don't announce like release dates ahead of time. That's something that you wish they would do, because like it would make sense, right? But they don't for some reason, and I don't know if they're like waiting for each other to like do the pricing and the release dates on that or what. But yeah, um, let's see. What is that behind you? Is that a TV? Yeah, this is a LG C1. I just have it playing on the masterpiece mode or whatever it's called, gallery mode, and it's just playing the default gallery stuff, like a little screensaver. I wasn't even gonna have it on, but it looks fine, so I just put it on. Um, I don't think anybody needs a TV bigger than 48-inch or 55-inch. I don't know, man. If you're sitting far away, you definitely need a bigger TV than that. But I don't know, that's just me. Like I think like to really appreciate 4K at its glory and then HDR, like I just think you need to be kind of like immersed. But it all depends on who you are. Because at the end of the day, it's up to you like what your preference is, and if you don't want a TV bigger than 48 and 55 inches, hey, then that's your prerogative, man. But I'll tell you what, if I did a poll, I bet you that would be the last place that's on here. So it's an interesting discussion. I also think that it would be really cool to get a QD OLED in an 85-inch or 83-inch screen size. That would be awesome. You know, I was hearing rumors about it actually being an 88-inch last year at CES, and it was talked that it was going to be an 88-inch QD OLED. And I didn't hear those things this year, so I don't know if that was just false or what, but yeah, it's a bummer. All right, let me catch up with chat, and then we're gonna move on to Sony and their lineup, and if they're going to maybe be getting rid of OLED, because that's a hot topic that I definitely want to touch on. I noticed the S89C is a tad bit brighter than the max brightness compared to my 65-inch Gen 1 S92C. I've never heard of the S92C. Again, that must be like a region specific model or maybe like a warehouse model or something. But yeah, S89C is might be a little bit brighter because of that new panel. It's always got the Gen 2 panel, of course, because it is 77 inches. Gen 1 S90C, okay. You look more calibrated now? That's hilarious. I'm the creator's intent, KG. Awesome. 48, 55 inches monitor territory. It really is monitor territory. I actually am using a 65-inch QD OLED as a monitor right now. And I know what you're thinking, like that's huge for a monitor. It's pretty big, but I do have it on a separate desk, and then I have another desk in front of that. So I have a good 3 feet, 4 feet maybe in between me. I don't know how like to transition to a smaller size than that now. Cause like this 48-inch behind me, that used to be my monitor, and then I moved it, and then I tried to use it as a monitor again, and now I can't. So it's like I've ruined myself, and I've only able to like use a 65-inch monitor. But then when I go to this MacBook Pro, which is like a 14-inch, it's fine. Like I can use it. But like when it comes down to a TV, using that as a monitor, it has to be huge. So I don't know. And it sucks because I was planning on getting a 32-inch, but I don't know how I'm gonna do that. Definitely want to do more monitors this year, because I have like a setup now where I can do monitors here. I can have the TVs on the back wall, and yeah, I've laid everything out so that it's gonna work out perfectly. And this year, when I get TVs, we're gonna do live streams, and it's going to be in 4K. So all my TV live streams this year will be in 4K. I hope it will work with YouTube. Somebody said that YouTube only maxes out to 1440p during live streams. I hope that's not the case. But if not, there'll be 4K after the stream at least, so you can go back and watch it and see what you missed. So like every time I go live now, it's gonna be higher quality. And that's just because I'm done with StreamYard. I'm done with StreamYard as a platform. There's downsides to that because like if my power ever goes out, the stream is just dead and like I would have to restart it. Or if I ever lost connection, the stream would just die and I would have to restart it. But I think that StreamYard is a really bad quality streaming service. For paying $50 a month for their 1080p, it barely looked 1080p and it was just disappointing. So I had to get off of that and go to Ecamm. I know FOMO's been using Ecamm. He's told me about it and I switched. So I love it. And there's more customization too. Like I can resize comments and stuff. I can do all that stuff. So that's just awesome. Um, and once I figure out how to use this software a little bit better, it's just gonna get even better from here. So yeah, I'm super excited about the future because the live streams are gonna be awesome this year. Awesome. So just be prepared. P Lump, thank you for the super chat. He says, well, I gotta make this bigger. Let's make this bigger. Oh, that's I want to make the text bigger. Okay, still learning. But he says I just bought a 75-inch U8K, and I'm thinking about taking it back and getting an 85-inch. Or should I just get a different TV brand? What would you select? That's a good question. I think like somebody said something about the 75-inch U8K being different panel type, right? It's like ADS Pro, which is going to be very similar to IPS, which ADS looks good. Don't get me wrong. Like I love what Samsung did with their panel switch because it actually ends up looking a little bit better than VA somehow. I guess ADS is just getting that much better. So I don't know. There's pros and cons to both ADS Pro and then VA, especially if they're going to be using any sort of anti-reflection layer. It helps with viewing angles. That is ADS Pro. And then if it's a VA and it doesn't have an anti-reflective layer and it doesn't have the wide viewing angle layer, then you're gonna have poor viewing angles with the 85-inch. However, like it really just depends like how you look at your TV. Um, Going to an 85-inch, I would always jump up in size if I could. Do you need the size though? Like, what's your seating distance away from the TV? Because going from 75 to 85, if it's far away, that might make a lot of sense, you know? But if you're a little bit closer anyway, I don't know how much that is really gonna help. That's interesting. In that category though, I would look at Sony. Because Sony is gonna be very similarly priced to the Hisense and the TCL. Not right now though. I do think the Sony will drop even further closer to where the Hisense and the TCL is. I'm talking about the Sony X90L right now. So I would wait for that one. If you don't want a TV right now, but if you absolutely need a TV right now, either that or the QM8 is the best options out there. So the U8K or the QM8 is definitely the best options in that price range. And we can look at some TVs on Best Buy in a little bit after we tackle the Sony question. Um, because a lot of people are buying a TV right now, so it is really important to look through what's available and what sales are available. So I don't know. Hopefully that helps you out. And if you have any other questions, just leave it in the chat, and I'll kind of uh, go even further in depth on it. Thank you for the super chat. So let's go through and make sure we didn't miss any other questions. Yeah, the G4 live stream is gonna be awesome. I can't wait either. I can't wait for any of the live streams, to be honest with you. It's gonna be fun. Which QD OLED is your monitor? It is the S95B. So the first ever QD OLED that I bought was the S95B. I still love it, and I didn't update it since like 1512 or something, or 4. I don't know. I haven't tried to update it. It's not that I don't want to. It's just I have my updates turned off. But I'm still connected to the internet. There's a way to do that. People think that there's no way to do that and they force updates onto you. Like, there's a way. You just don't hit OK and you don't hit later. Like, you just hit the back button and you won't get updates. But that's besides the point. It's the S95B. I still like it, so I still don't get the term creator's intent. So the creator's intent is based upon looking at a reference monitor. So if you're looking at a monitor that the creator was making the movie on, let's say like an HX310 mastering monitor, they'll use that, right, to like grade the movie and do all the finishing touches based on what the director wants. And then you're watching a movie based on how they graded it. And so people want to have their TV match what that mastering monitor was. So that would be like the closest thing to creator's intent. So it's just the idea of people wanting to stay true to the director's vision. I think there's a really interesting discussion to be had there of how much is the movie actually altered after the director really, put his word in on it. Like, how much is being added just to make things, spice it up for Hollywood? I don't know. There's a lot of discussion around that, and it's something that it's up to you whether or not you like it at the end of the day, I think. But I think respecting the creator's intent is a noble thing that people do, but it's not something that you have to do. I think personal preference matters more than just like, okay, that's what I want, that's the creator's intent. And if your personal preference is that's what I want, that's the creator's intent, then that's cool. But if it's not, then that's also cool. I think there's too many people that get caught up on the idea of it has to be this way. And it definitely doesn't have to be this way. You can use any mode that you want and it's fine. But the idea of the creator's intent is just following what the creator's intent is. It's like it's kind of how it is said, and that's the term. So I personally think the creator's intent. I watch a lot of movies in filmmaker mode, for example, and custom mode, and that's the way I watch my movies. So I do follow the creator's intent most of the time. But if there's a time where I don't like the creator's intent, then I'll be like, okay, let me just add a little bit of something to this because it looks really bad. And or if I can't see in a movie, maybe I'll just like raise the black level or something because it looks just unwatchable. So it's just something that I kind of treat as is does it satisfy my eyes? Yes or no? If it doesn't, then I'm gonna just pass on the idea of creator's intent. But if it looks good, then I'm gonna stay with the creator's intent. I don't think you need to like always stay with it though. That's just me though. So I don't know. I had a long discussion with Classy about that one time. It was a fun discussion. Got to have him on again, for sure. I used to do live streams with Classy, but this man is a busy man now. Ever since he became a professional calibrator, he has been always busy, and he works more too. So new set looks fresh. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I did a lot of work to kind of get this little corner set up, and I'm doing this for the future so that again I can have. I'm gonna have another camera, by the way. So I'm gonna have a camera that will always be on my face set up, and then I'm also gonna have a camera that's gonna be set up on TVs. So when we do our 4K live streams, it's gonna be sick. And I can't wait. I really can't, because finally we are in 4K. Well, right now you can watch it in 1440p because of some latency issue or something. I gotta look into that, but there is a way to get it in 4K, and I will figure this out. All right, let's go down. Charlton says, I am waiting for a new Sony TV with the new backlight control and all. I want to get an 85-inch. When do you think this TV will come out? And do you think it'll cost more than current models? You're talking about the prototype. Will it come out? I think so. So it just doesn't make sense for them to show it off in such an urgent manner. And I say that because it's like they really tried to get a lot of people to see it. So they flew people out to Japan to see it originally, and then they showed people it in Las Vegas, and I was able to see it in Las Vegas as well. It was really awesome. It does make a difference. I did a whole video talking about the evolution of the mini LED and where Sony's taking it and why I'm excited about where Sony's taking it. And a lot of it has to do with that circuitry. So, like, not to nerd out and get into detail on it because, there's a lot. And I covered it in the video a little bit. But it was really impressive to see what they did. And they said it's the world's smallest LED driver, and that's going to really help get the brightness in the right areas of the TV in the right zones. Because that's the biggest weakness of mini LED and really any full array local dimming TV is you just don't have enough light in the right spots. And oftentimes when you have a moving object, the light will either trail behind or it'll just shift the colors a little bit and it just won't look right. So it'll never look as good as OLED, and I'm afraid it still never will. But if it can get close and then up the brightness and full screen brightness, something that OLED is always going to struggle with, then, well, I'm excited about it because that means that it's in its own lane, and I think when you stay true to yourself as a technology, then you're always going to have a place. Burn-in aside, like burn-in fears aside, why people get mini LED, a lot of people do get it because of burn-in concerns, but like I want people to want to get mini LED despite that. I need a real reason for people to want to get mini LED over OLED TVs, and I think Sony can deliver that. So that's why I'm really excited about what Sony is going to offer. Because while it might not be OLED at the end of the day, like, and if you're looking at it in terms of like a pure technology, the best contrast. You're never gonna get black levels like that, but if you can get close and then you can up the brightness, like I said, then a lot of people are gonna buy it. So yeah, I'm excited about it. And we're gonna touch on Sony in just a little bit. I just want to make sure we're going through all of it. Um, every time you turn off filmmaker mode, Tom Cruise sheds a tear. Yeah, for sure. And Y says, "Your thought, KG? My room has a 15-foot sofa to table wall. Since it's my room, I can't bring the sofa any closer." Wow, that's really far. So are you saying that you're 15 feet from a TV right now? That is wild. Um, yeah, I would definitely get a big TV if you can. If you can go 85 inches, I would go that route. 77 inches is like a must at that size, at that distance. But yeah, if you can go 85-inch, um, that might be a better option for you. Because if you're sitting far away from a nice TV, you're really not gonna be able to appreciate like the detail that you paid for the TV. Because if you sit far away from a nice TV, it looks good. If you sit far away from a mediocre TV, it looks good. It's like there's no distinguishing the differences of the TV at a certain distance. As long as they're around the same brightness, you can really not tell them apart. And that's kind of like the issue when you sit far away from a TV. I think that you lose out on the value that you're paying for a TV the further you sit. That's just always been the way I looked at it. So that's why like I sit as close as possible to the TVs at a comfortable distance, of course, just so I get my money's worth. Like, I don't know. And those of you though that can't move your couch, and you're definitely in a dilemma where you need to get a bigger TV or you need to just get a smaller TV but not spend as much because you're not gonna appreciate the difference. Like I've said this, like I've seen somebody actually get a 65-inch like mediocre Vizio TV, have it about 12 feet away, and then they upgraded and to like an OLED TV. There's barely like a difference from 12 feet away, and it was weird. But that's just how it is. You sit close to a TV, you could tell the difference. You sit further away from a TV, there's like really no difference. So yeah, that's why I think TV size matters a lot. That's a good question. Between the A80J and the A80L, how big of a change is picture quality? Not that huge, to be honest with you. There's some improvements with the XR Clear that helps a lot with certain content, but genuinely, like the A80J, A80L, it's pretty similar. Like I wouldn't upgrade if I was like pressed to upgrade. I wouldn't upgrade. So you're not missing out on anything other than the XR Clear enhancements there, and yeah, I mean just general TV improvements. But it's just like from the C2 to the C3 or the C1 to the C3, you know, the CX to the C3. Like it's not a huge jump. There might be like a little bit more brightness, but that's how I feel like when I'm jumping even last year, man, from the S95B to the S90C, I wouldn't upgrade. There was not a huge jump there. Like you could kind of tell the difference. And even like the S95B next to the S95C, I made this video and I was like, other than the extra tone mapping options that you have now, like there's no reason to upgrade. So I do think people rush out and get upgrades a little too fast, which is understandable if you're gonna put it in a different room. But like, man, if you aren't doing much with that TV other than just replacing it or selling it, I do feel like you just might be jumping the gun a little bit. But I mean, if you got the income to do it and you don't care, then that's fine. But don't, just throw away a good TV because a new one comes out. Yeah, I know that like kind of goes against like the whole entire business of like reviewing TVs and hoping somebody maybe buys a TV. But like, I still have to be real with you guys. Like, it's not worth it to upgrade most of the time, unless you get a reason to, a technology reason. You want a bigger size. You want to put the TV in another room. That's really the only reasons I could find to upgrade. So, or maybe like the TV that you got, something just irks you about it. Something gets on your nerves. You like don't like the motion, or you don't like the way that the color looks, or something. And within 5 years of buying a TV, something's gonna go wrong with it. That's just how it goes. 15 feet, get a 85-inch X95L. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. And if you can't afford the X95L, the X90L is a good option as well. I like the 85-inch QN90C. It's a good price right now as well. Laser projector is also an option. I love my laser projector. It's awesome. I didn't think I like laser projectors as much as I did, but I do. There's downsides to it, of course. But like, again, it comes back to immersion. Like, if you did you guys just watch that video that Caleb did from Digital Trends, where he was talking about the 98-inch QM8 and then the 77-inch 895L? Like, he made some really good points in that video, and I share a lot of the same opinions on how he like spoke about it. Because yeah, when it comes down to watching certain things, I'll take the bigger display every time, even if it's a little lesser in quality. There's definitely a threshold to like a cutoff point where you're like, all right, maybe I'm not gonna watch like a 85-inch like entry level Vizio or something. Then you can maybe notice a difference. But the way he put it with the QM8 to the A95L, that was a really good video. And shout out to Caleb. I think he's a really good creator. And yeah, man, that was a good video. And I like my laser projector for that reason, because it covers the immersion. The immersion factor is real. And you can't move your couch. That's a bummer. Yeah. Oh, he could move his couch. I might have read that wrong. So the words are a little bit smaller on this platform. If he said he could move his couch, definitely move your couch. You need one of those couches like they had this couch at CES. It just moves forward, and you can adjust it. It's just, that'd be nice. Classy in the house. He says, "Hey, what's up, man? Using a new streaming platform. So I'm done with StreamYard. But I told everybody about your stream tomorrow. I can't wait. That's gonna be really cool watching you build a PC. But yeah, tune into that broadcast if you guys are interested. All right. Almost caught up with chat. They're definitely flowing. For movie or AWOL laser projector. The one I got is an AWOL vision projector. I still need to check out some other projectors as well, but this definitely is like the nicest projector I've ever seen. And yeah, it was a crazy product because I didn't even expect to do a video on it, and they reached out to me and they're like, "Hey, do you want to do a video on this?" And I was like, "You know what? I actually really was looking forward to looking at a ultra short throw projector." So I said yes, and I'm glad I did, because man, it's like something I watch this every day now. So it's like, it's awesome. I'm pretty happy with it. There's definitely downsides. Again, like, it's not an OLED TV at the end of the day, but it's also not a really crappy LCD TV. It's somewhere like in the mid-range LCD area. There's some downsides that might put it a little lower than that. But yeah, no, it's really good. There's you know, like I said, pluses and pros and cons to it, like everything, but can't beat the size. Riley says, I've noticed most TV reviewers get in so many TVs. They tend to forget that most of us buy one TV and hope it lasts for 8+ years. With that said, which 2023 to 2024 TV would be your 8+ year TV? You know, 8+ years, I'm gonna be honest with you. 8+ years is that's not gonna happen. Like, not with these TVs. They're cutting corners these days. Just they're doing whatever they can to get these costs down, so that they can just like deliver good TVs like when you watch them, but they cut corners. And like if you don't believe me, just look at some of the things that ratings doing with their longevity tests. The thing that fails is not like screen burn-in, first of all. You don't get that right away. It's more like things start to fail. And that's more likely what's gonna happen with TVs is 4 to 5 years. You're gonna get some problems with it. You know, like this is just one example, but gaming tech, he got LG G2 and something went wrong with his LG G2. He had to get it replaced. Like that was fast. Like that happens from time to time. And that's why I'm not opposed to saying, "Hey, get the warranty." Like I used to be somebody who was against the warranties. I never got the warranty. But after working at Best Buy, it's like they brainwashed me into thinking, "Hey, maybe I should get the warranty." And I actually bought the warranty on the Q7 FN, and that went out last year, and I ended up getting a replacement for that. And it was just nice because if I didn't have that, I wouldn't get the gift card that I paid for the TV. So that's nice. And the fact that they still let you keep the TV was nice as well. So like, yeah, if you're getting a TV and you're expecting it to last for 8 years, that would I just think that's a little bit too much. You're asking a little bit too much. I'd say 5 to 6 years is a good point. Like if you get 5 to 6 years out of the TV, you're in a good spot. You like your TV did good. But 8 years is rough. Like I know some TVs still work after 8 years, but there's definitely going to be some problems in that 8 years. Um I don't know your budget, so I can't really recommend a TV. But I just wanted to speak on the whole 8-year thing because that is that's a lot. That's a lot to expect from a TV. Um, I hear a lot, everybody's like, "I still got my plasma from 10 years ago." It's like, but it probably doesn't look like the same plasma that you bought 10 years ago. Like I know plasmas do not have that kind of staying power. There's always something wrong with plasmas whenever I see them. Um, so yeah, no, it's an interesting discussion. But yeah, Riley, let me know your budget so I can help you pick a TV. Yep, same panel, same thing. Oh, we got Zeke in the house. Speaking of the digital trends, we got Zeke, man. He's an awesome editor for digital trends. He also got a really great channel based on tech, man. And he just did a review of the MT48, the same audio interface that I got. I love this audio interface. I love it. I love it. Yeah, definitely go check out Zeke's channel. Really talented dude. Makes really good music as well. So yeah, check out his channel. We got a lot of people in here. Got Matt Facer. He says, "Hey KG, keep up the good work. Will you be comparing the Samsung W OLED versus LG since they will be in smaller, more affordable sizes like 42 and 48?" Yeah, that's something I do plan on doing. I'm actually really excited that Samsung's going to be doing a 42 and 48 inch, regardless if it's W OLED. And I wish that Sony would do it still too, because there's no reason to not do it. This is a size that is in demand from people, and it's like, why let LG have the market share on that? Why let them have a monopoly over a 42 and 48 inch like screen size? Because like I see the A80K, and it's like really hard to recommend because they never drop in price. When you have the LG C3 or C2 like sitting at a much lower price, so Samsung will definitely not skimp, and they will definitely drop the price to match like the C series. So I'm excited about it because that just gives you more options in that size range. And I'm also excited because they're going to have Game Motion Plus on that OLED. So that just makes it even better. So I can't wait to see that and compare it and see how they do W OLED versus say, LG. They're both going to be LG display panels, of course, but they all have their different philosophies when it comes down to like how the electronics companies set up their TVs. And we all know that Samsung has their way of doing things. And I'm curious to compare them because I think that is going to be a really good comparison. I wish I got to see the 83-inch S90C for that reason and for that reason alone. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm glad you brought that up though. That is something that actually one of the things at CES that really surprised me that they were doing, but I was happy that they're doing it. So, like, really quickly on that topic, since we're on the topic of Samsung and WOLED, so this will actually be the S90D, which is like, okay, there's the 55-inch S90D, the 65-inch S90D, and the 77-inch S90D. Those are QD OLEDs. But Samsung just, for some reason, just doesn't get it. And they made the 83-inch S90D once again a WOLED. Well, that's just because there's no QD OLED, right? But here's why I'm really upset about it. Because now they're gonna do 42 and 48-inch, also calling it the S90D. But what really makes me upset, because yes, those are WOLEDs. Of course, there's no QD OLED in that size. But like, what really makes me upset about that is that, well, not really upset, but it just like it grinds my gears, I guess. You got the S85D, which is a WOLED in 55, 65 inches, right? And it might even be in 77 inches as well. I'm not sure. But why not just make it that? Why not just make a 42 and 48-inch S85D and don't even mess with the S90D? And same thing with the 83-inch. Like, just make it the S85. Why would you even run the risk of confusing consumers? Like, it's just wild to me. That part doesn't make sense. I wish they didn't do that. But yeah. Don't like when they mix things. Just like when LG did the whole MLA with the G3 last year, but still had an 83-inch G3. It's like, oh, why'd you do that? You're just gonna confuse people. So yeah. Um, some funny comments in the chat. Thank you for that comment. That's really awesome. JR Frazier, what's up? He says, if you had to keep either the 77-inch A80L or the 77-inch S90C, which would be your choice? Overall, for your use case, I did that comparison. I chose the S89C. For me, like, I really like the A80L, but I do so much gaming that, like, I can't turn down a QD OLED. Like, I couldn't. So an S89C would be the answer there, especially at that price point. I have to factor in the price point. So we have to be realistic and say, like, yes, the S89C is out there, and yes, while it might not be as good with streaming and like picture quality in terms of like picture processing and even low bitrate streaming, then, well, yeah, the A80L is gonna be better than it in that area. But when it comes down to like QD OLED and gaming, and I do a lot of gaming, so yeah, I would definitely choose the S89C. It's such a good value. Like, $17.99 for a 77-inch. That would have to be the one to get for me, man. I love both of the TVs though. Don't get me wrong. And I see why people get the A80L over the S90C. Like, I do see the reasoning for it. It's just not in my use case. I wouldn't personally be doing that. And that's what you asked. So I just wanted to be clear on that. Yeah, just a reminder, Classy is doing his gaming PC build stream tomorrow, 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern time. I will be there. I believe Gaming Tech, Marcus from Gaming Tech. Yep, he'll be there, I believe. So check that out. It'll be a fun live stream. And hopefully nothing explodes. That's all I gotta say. Last time I tried to build a PC, literally had my motherboard blew up. Wasn't a huge explosion or anything. This is like, as soon as I turned on the computer, it went. I was like, oh god, what just? I'm done. Like, there goes my build. So I just gave up, and then I was building it for my nephew. So I gave up, and I just gave him my old iMac, and I was like, all right, here you go, dude. Have Merry Christmas. So that's how that went. But that's why I don't build PCs, because things tend to explode. But anyway. All right, let's talk to we're caught up with chat finally. Now let's go to our next discussion, and then we'll look at TV prices, because that's something we do want to talk about. So we got the TV release dates. So let's talk about it. Is Sony killing OLED TVs? You've seen it. I know you've seen it. I know you've seen the clickbait videos that are out there. A lot of people saying Sony's killing OLED TVs, and you could argue this was a clickbait as well because they're not killing OLED TVs, guys. I don't know where this thought came from, but you just have to think about it logically. Why would they kill the OLED TVs off? It's like one of their best sellers. It's one of the things that people look forward to the most. Just because they're going the route of developing a better mini LED TV doesn't mean that they're done with OLED TVs. They're just focusing on mini LED, and they do this from time to time. Like, remember when the X95K came out? They didn't really have a flagship OLED TV that year. They rolled over the A90J. Sorry, not the X90K, the X95J, right? So yeah, that's one of the things. Like, when you look at it, they just switch things up sometimes. So, and I might have misspoke on like the whole release schedule thing. I get that stuff mixed up, but sometimes they take a break, and sometimes they just focus on other technologies. They still will probably have OLEDs this year. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they even had an MLA OLED this year. I really wouldn't. I'm not saying that they will because I wouldn't bet on that, but it wouldn't shock me. It would shock me, however, if they do have a QD OLED. That would shock me. So, but I'm expecting the same kind of W OLEDs like usual. And I'm also still expecting their mini LED TVs to release, the newer ones, hopefully. That's more of like something I really want to happen. That's a personal hope, more than I don't know if I bet on that either, because the fact that they called it a prototype, that does kind of make me wonder, like, is this like a year away? I'm not sure. Um, so Manuel says A95L still $5,000. Now even getting replaced by an updated version without the issues, so they can label it as a 2024 model and get away with not discounting it. I haven't heard anything like that, so I'm not sure where you heard this from, but that'd be honestly weird if they did that. I don't see that. I mean, look, sure, you could go that route. You can say like, "Oh, here we got the A95, or well, what they could call it, the A93M or something." If they want to go the same route as they did with the X93L, I guess they could call it the A93M, and then they can go that route. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I would highly doubt that. And then Ronnie Creason says he's got a football question. Says, "Do you think the Lions um are going to win the whole thing next year?" They did very good, and I'm sad that they lost. I'm definitely sad for you guys. They have a chance. They have a chance. It's really hard to go like and have the same type of success, especially when everybody's like knows you're good now, and then you're gonna get the best of everybody. You're going to get first place teams now. It'll be tough. It'll be tough, but I wouldn't rule it out. Yeah, no, I just think I'm not sure who made that claim, SD, but that doesn't sound right. It doesn't seem like a something Sony would do. Like, it just doesn't feel like a Sony thing that they would do. I get it. They did it with the X95K, and then they moved it to the X93L. I get that, but I don't see it happening here. Jesse says I would expect a hypothetical A95M would have a third generation QD OLED panel. Yeah, I think if they do make a new QD OLED, then it'll definitely probably have the third generation panel. There's no reason for it not to. But I don't know that they're actually going to go that route. They might just be like, hey, we're taking a break from QD OLED. They didn't make enough in that advancements to make a real difference. The A95L is still going to be regarded as one of the best TVs. Why not just carry it over? So I think that's probably what they're just going to do. They're probably just going to carry over the A95L completely. I don't know what's going on with my LG background, but let's fix that. There was a screensaver for a screensaver. That's what just happened. So I have it on gallery mode, and I think a screensaver popped up on top of the gallery. That was weird. I don't know. I don't know how this happened, but that's besides the point. Let's talk about Sony though. You guys have any questions about Sony? We can kind of speculate on Sony. I don't know anything. I wish I did, but I don't know anything on Sony. So I can only go off of like what they did in the past and give you my opinion on that. So we do got 124 people watching right now, and I appreciate everybody that is watching. If you guys are enjoying this stream so far, hit the like button. It will help a lot, and I do appreciate you guys for doing that. So let's highlight Classy's comment here. He says, "No need for the A95M to move to 3rd gen. A95L will switch to 3rd gen as soon as that is all available." Exactly. It's like that's just going to happen naturally. I think people get caught up too much in like, is it 2nd gen? Is it 3rd gen? Is it 1st gen? Like honestly, grab a 1st gen like S90C and then grab a 2nd gen S90C. Probably not going to be able to tell a huge difference. Like most people probably wouldn't be able to tell a huge difference. You could probably nitpick something if they're side by side, but in more like regular content that you watch, most of the content that you watch hardly will be a difference. There will hardly be a difference. So I think that people get caught up on what generation is it too much. I get that you want the newer generation. There is advancements. I'm not saying there's not advancements. I'm just saying like in actuality and actual content and what the electronics companies are driving these panels to do, there's not a huge difference. So that's kind of like that with that. And then the 3rd generation, it's good, but I don't know again what Samsung's going to drive it to. So we'll see. Same thing with LG, right? All these claims of like 3000 nits, that is not like on typical temperatures that people watch TV in. That's all taken like in extremely cold temperatures. So yeah, it's not something that's like a realistic thing that's gonna happen. It's not always gonna hit 3000 nits. So I think that's one thing that people maybe get a little bit too caught up in, like 2nd gen, 3rd gen, 1st gen. And yeah, if the software doesn't allow it to do anything more, then it's not gonna matter. These companies obviously worry a lot about longevity, about burn-in. I mean, that ties in with longevity, right? So like basically they worry a lot about longevity and panel efficiency, and driving the panel is not the easiest thing for them sometimes when it comes down to that. They have to have that balance. So like I said, 1st gen, 2nd gen, 3rd gen, not gonna make a huge difference. Yeah, and I mean, like, it's not just brightness with the, like, generation hops. It is some differences in color and color purity and all that. Like, that's a proven thing, but it's like you really have to nitpick to see those differences. So, most people probably won't know a difference or see a difference. S95D is targeting 1600 nits, and A95L is already 1500 plus in peaks anyway. If that's what Sony sees when they're like looking at the panel technology, and they're like, how much realistically could we make the A95M better then they can't find a conclusion to that, and then they end up just saying, "I will just carry over the A95L because there's not gonna be a huge difference at the end of the day." So like, it makes sense that there wouldn't be a A95M, and they would just carry it over, especially since they're having such a hard time meeting demands of a 77-inch right now. Like they can't keep the 77-inch in stock. They can't even keep the 65-inch in stock or the 55-inch. One of those. One of those is recently just sold out a lot. I think it's the 55-inch actually. It just keeps going in and out of stock. But they can't keep the stuff in stock. So like they can't even keep up with the demand of having a 77-inch. They're only ordering a certain amount. I'm not sure what's going on behind the scenes, but yeah, they can't even like keep that stuff in stock. So exactly. Um, so are we thinking that the Gen 3 will launch for the S95D, or is that update on the rumor mill? So like yeah, I think that's what you can expect. S95D to have a third generation panel. It would make sense. So yeah, I definitely say so. All right. So let's jump into this right here. Oh, yep. Can you guys see this? You guys see the Best Buy right now? Let me know. Let me know if I did this right. Should be on my webcam here. Um, and then we should be good. Okay. So we're gonna look at some of the TV sales that are going on. Let me actually take this graphic off. Oh, I did. Okay, cool. So let's add a little bit of a graphic saying best deals available. Best deals available. Available. There. Let's just say best deals. Why not? Okay. Um, let's see. Military Exchange is closing out the A95L 77-inch was 4,000. Military Exchange has a lot of good deals from time to time. Especially when they're ready to close things out, man. Yeah, you're definitely right about that. You're definitely right about that. All right. Okay, so we got the best deals right now. Best deals right now. I don't know why I can't get that to be any. But yeah, all right. So anyway, here we go. So let's look. Anything on the deal of the day? Sometimes you guys want to check deal of the day. Oh, 20% off Domino's gift cards. That could be handy. But nah, let's keep looking. Insignia 32-inch. Not necessarily what I would want right now, but maybe for like a kitchen. I don't know. So our deal is gonna end tomorrow or Sunday. Our deal is gonna end Sunday. Is a question I got. I don't know. There might be some that end that day. There might be. I can't imagine the S89C is gonna be like one they just keep hanging at that price because that's still the best, right? We still think this is the best deal available by far. Really good deal. Like really good deal. So there is that. And look, it's just put it in perspective. It's $200 more than a 65-inch S90C. Like that's what we get. That's what you get if you're looking for a 77-inch. Um, let's see. Can you see that? I can't see that. It doesn't show up as nice as I want. Here, let's try to get like a easier color. There we go. There we go. Okay. Will they make a X90 lower cost mini LED? That's something I hope they do. To be honest with you, like I've been asking for years that they just like move the X90L, the X90 series to mini LED. Does it make a huge difference? No, not really. It's just the fact that I think they'll sell more. Like I think they'll appeal to more people because they think mini LED is so much better than full array, which not necessarily the case. It's still all about how you use them zones. But you know, I could see them now that they're doing this new mini LED that they could add like their older mini LEDs. They can do that for like the X90L and stuff. That's a possibility, right? Definitely a possibility. Thank you for that question. And then if you guys have any questions, I will be going for about 10 more minutes or so, like, and then we'll wrap it up. But if you have any questions, leave them for sure, so we know how to answer your question. And if you don't have a question now and you have one later, put them in the comments. I will answer them there. Um, let's see. Did Hisense fix their motion? I mean, I have some motion problems still sometimes with the U8K. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's some weird things that happen with the YouTube TV and certain shows. I don't know if that's related to YouTube TV or the Hisense, but I do have some problems there. But other than that, I don't have motion issues other than like with certain older shows for some reason. Classy says I want a step down QD OLED model from Sony, but I don't expect it this year. I expect the A95L to continue to be the flagship and the A80L gets an update. That's it on the OLED side. Yeah, I I kind of feel the same way. I wouldn't be surprised if they did an MLA based. I really wouldn't be surprised. But again, would it shock me if like the only OLED is the A80 series? It wouldn't. I expect there to be 42 and 48-inch Sony OLEDs again though this year. I really do. I feel like not having it last year just sort of locked them out of that market share. Like I was speaking of earlier with Samsung, like it's nice that Samsung's doing 42 and 48-inch this year. So I hope Sony does it as well. But like take a different approach than last time. Like don't separate it. Just keep it in the A80 series and keep it along the same kind of specs if you can. Riley was chiming in again. He says, "I'm limited to 65-inch. By the way, if you happen to answer, you get a lot of questions. I appreciate the previous answer. No, I appreciate you, Riley. Did you ever say what budget you were? And if you did, I missed it. Could you say that again so I could help you out and help you pick a TV while we're looking at TVs?" Chad was saying he sits 7 feet away from his 85-inch Q and 85A. It's a perfect immersive distance. Yeah, that's I sit about well close to 6 feet away from a 77-inch, or I used to. I don't anymore. I actually have it pretty far away now, unfortunately. But yeah, I used to sit really close to my 77-inch, and I sit pretty close to a 65-inch right now. But 7 feet from an 85 doesn't seem too bad. Processing difference in the G3 and the S89C is not huge. I actually think that Samsung might have a better processor than LG's, but that's just because I really do like the micro sharpening that they do. Some people don't like that, but I still like it. I think it does add to like just a more detailed picture. at times. As far as motion though, between the two, like I think that Sony and LG's motion is about the same now, like very similar. And then their low bitrate streaming is about the same as well. So I think the low bitrate thing gets pinned on Samsung way too much, where it's also affecting LG from what I've seen. So like the only ones that really gets low bitrate like perfect, I don't even want to say perfect, near perfect is Sony. So but LG struggles a bit with it. It's not like it's horrible, but same thing with Samsung. It's not like it's horrible, but they can struggle with it at times. There's issues that you'll see with the picture with low bit rate from time to time. I realize I'm looking at this camera when it's actually this camera on, so that probably looks stupid on stream. I'm in a little box though, so you probably can't even tell. What's better, QM8 or U8K? That's actually a really good question. They're very similar, man, and not a huge difference, I would say. Not a huge difference. I think the QM8 might be slightly brighter. Slightly brighter. I really like the U8K. I think that out of the box it looks really good. I don't have a problem with the game mode this year, which is nice. I haven't had too much hands-on gaming with the QM8, to be honest, so I can't speak on if it's better for gaming or not. But I love the U8K for gaming. I really think it's a great gaming TV, and they stepped it up a lot for games. So they're probably very similar in the same type of playing field, I would say. Sort of just gotta pick which one you would want more based on the features, and the QM8 does get brighter. But I also think that the U8K might be better out of the box for color, if that matters to you. All right, so anyway, let's see if we got a response there from Riley. He didn't respond yet. All right, so looking at the deals that are available right now, so let's see if anything new popped up for TVs. So I like to search TV and then sort by new just to see if anything popped up in terms of new TVs. I don't see anything per se. Yeah, nothing new yet. This keeps coming in and out of stock. This is the 100-inch Hisense U76. A lot of people want this TV, and rightfully so. I mean, it's just a really good value. And it's Super Bowl, so everybody's trying to get a 100-inch TV, it looks like. But hey, like this is the next best deal right here. Honestly, this is probably the best deal. Like we've highlighted that. Going down the line, you see like Pioneer TVs. I don't know about that. This is a really good deal as well. So I've talked about how the A80L and the A75L are pretty similar. This is the best 55-inch deal right now because $11.99 is a good price for this TV. The S90C is $14.99, so there's a gap there. So I could see people just going for the A75L with that in mind if you're in the 55-inch range. This is $100 cheaper than the S90C, but we're starting to get in the territory where it's just like, all right, you're closer now to a S89C 77-inch. Might just want to like go that route. Again, like a 77-inch A95L is always sold out. These are typically always the same price here. On sale. Still the best TV though. Like the A95L is still the best TV in my opinion. Until we see otherwise. It's just like not the best in regards to value. So like I don't recommend it a ton. But if you just want the best and you're okay with paying a lot more, you're getting the best that way. But it's not by huge margins. That's for sure. Like the S89C is going to really satisfy most people. But if there's any questions on any other like certain budget ranges, that way I know what I'm looking at here. Because I don't want to just show you guys expensive TVs. So if you have like a certain budget range you are looking at, let me know. I'll help you solve that dilemma while we're still live here. And again, I'm probably gonna go for about 5 more minutes. So if you have any more questions, leave them in the chat. You could leave a regular chat or a super chat, either one. I'll respond to it. Super chats are appreciated though; they help the channel grow. But they are not required, of course. And I answer pretty much all the questions I see in chat as long as I can see them. And if I don't answer your question, don't hesitate to ask it again, like after 10 minutes or so. I do like this new platform though. It's really easier to see chat. I'm not missing much. So that's good. S90D is what I'm looking forward to. It'd be interesting. I think the S90D is going to be very similar to the S90C, to be honest with you. Like, if you are waiting for a 77-inch, I feel like you're making a mistake because the S90C, not the S, sorry, because the S89C is the price that it is. And I know, like, I sound like a broken record going back to that TV, but it really is the best. Like, it, like it's the best deal that you can get right now. And how much better is the S90D better than this? Not much. If it is at all, like, it's probably gonna be pretty much the same thing. So, yeah, I wouldn't wait. I wouldn't wait. And that doesn't like favor me to say that, by the way. Like, it favors me to say don't wait. Or sorry, it favors me to say wait and get the new, more expensive TVs. But I'm trying to just give you guys real answers. Say like, if you're in the market for a 77-inch, thinking that the S90D is gonna be like so much better, just go 77-inch. You can only go 65 inches. I think I would still get the S90C at this point, like 15.99. Like if you can only go 65 inches, like it depends. Like what are you expecting exactly to change from like the S90C to the S90D? Because I doubt they're going to use the third generation panel. And even if they do use the third generation panel, the fact that they're using second generation panels, they're that just is going to signify that they're probably just going to software cap it to a certain extent so that they don't have any mismatches. So it'd be really interesting to see though. KG and other reviewers said Samsungs are sharp, but you say it's soft. Who's right? Um, so it depends on how people look at it. Like there's two different ways to look at it. Samsung is sharp. They do this like micro sharpening with their processing. Um, they also do this thing that can make things look softer though with their processing as well. So I can see where that idea comes from. You will see sometimes where faces might look a little softer, like they little smudgy. It's really just depends on what Samsung's processing is doing to the image. I think they do a little bit more than most. Like I think Sony probably does it like way more processing than anybody else, but Samsung definitely can have some, instances where you might get a blurry, smudged face. But in regards to like sharpness, if we're looking at a pure 4K image, I think they do a little bit of over sharpening with that in mind. When it comes down to their upscaling, that's where it can get a little soft, if that makes sense. Yeah, well, upscaling, like, I think when people are talking about their upscaling, they're talking about 720p, 1080p, right? Like, that's what I thought about when I'm talking about upscaling is when you're talking about 480p even sources. Like, I don't know if there's even 480p sources much anymore, but I'm thinking like Nintendo Switch, 1080p upscaling, watching like Blu-rays, 1080p upscaling, of course watching TV, YouTube TV, 1080p upscaling. Like that's what I think of when I think of upscaling. Um, when you're like feeding it a 4K source, like you're saying, like I don't know where that comes in mind. Uh, That's a good question. Who are you going for in the Super Bowl? Well, it's not the Chiefs. Tell you that. It's definitely the 49ers. I want to see Christian McCaffrey win a Super Bowl ring and Kyle Shanahan because I'm a Broncos fan and they're originally like Broncos basically in my eyes. You know, Ed McCaffrey was a Bronco. Now his son's playing for the 49ers. Mike Shanahan was the Broncos head coach for a lot of the time that I watched football. So that's awesome because now his son's coaching in the Super Bowl. So I just want to see them win. That's why. And also the Chiefs. I don't like them. I don't like them. They terrorized me too much. So, yep. Let's see. Does the S89C stand scratch up the table with the TV placed on it? Saw a stand and got worried about table damage. I can see how you think that. Um, I don't think so. When I used it, I didn't feel like it was at risk of scratching the desk. It wasn't super sharp or anything like that. Uh, the legs itself were kind of like not soldered. um, God, what is that term? Like sanded, I guess. Sanded down, like so it's not sharp. Like it was really smooth. I know this is like a different type of finish to the stand. It's not the exact same as the S90C because it doesn't have a place where the base plate goes. They like filled that spot in, but it is pretty much the same stand in regards to like the bottom of it and stuff. So yeah, I don't think it would scratch it. And I think it does have pads as well. Looking in chat, yeah, it does have pads. People are saying it has pads. Yeah, I thought it had pads. I don't know. All right. Do you consider Hisense and TCL premium stuff budget? No, not really. I actually don't even consider the QM8 budget. I just consider like I have a different category for it. It's like value. Like it's right in that sweet spot where you're finally getting like really good picture quality. I think they're like a good brand. Now, I think Hisense and TCL are good. Um they definitely have some weird artifacts sometimes still with like processing. Like you'll see that there's the occasional weird thing that happens with the TVs, and you know they'll eventually fix that and won't have those kind of issues. But yeah, I mean, like really losing out on TV technology. So that's the good thing about it. So I don't consider them budget at all. Um, like what I consider budget is like I guess the U6K is budget, but it's budget in a good way because there's not a there's not a better TV than the U6K at this price range. Like there's just not. So like I consider this budget, but it's good. It's a good TV for the price. Um, it's just not going to be on their top level. It's not going to be on the top level of TVs. But I do consider the QM8 and the U8K. I consider those like great, good TVs, good to great TVs. Like it is in that category where like if you buy that TV, you're going to be really satisfied. They're close. They're pretty close to like where Samsung mini LEDs are. They're close. I still think I prefer the QN85C slightly, but not by a ton. And I definitely prefer the QN90C though. Um, but it's it still is like one of those things where will you spend more for the QN90C or just get a QM8 or a U8K? Like I'm starting to lean towards just get a QM8 U8K for most people now because you're saving a lot and you're getting a similar experience. Let's read. Okay. Thank you, Riley. Sorry I got lost in here. 3500 65-inch max size due to wall limitations. So your max size, wow, okay. This might be a situation where like if you want the best TV, like then like maybe this is the A95L since you cannot go any larger and you're kind of like capped and you want the best, go with this. But hey, if you want to not go with the best and like you want to go with like the second best, then go with this or even the G3. I like I like the S90C and the G3 a lot. I give the edge to the S90C if you want to save some money. Like I probably go that route, but I love the G3. The G3 gets extremely bright and I like it a lot. Like it's one of my favorite TVs last year, believe it or not. I almost bought one. So that's how much I like the G3. I almost bought one, but I couldn't justify buying a TV at the time because I was going to review more TVs and space limited. But if I'm a consumer, I might buy this TV. Like if I am a consumer, but like if I'm just a normal consumer and not a content creator that always switches stuff out, like the G3 might be on my list because it does come with that 5-year warranty, which would matter to me if I was just looking for a TV for long term. And then, you know, I think it's a really nice TV. I think it's very bright. I can't wait to see what the G4s are gonna do. So like I would say go with the G3 or the A95L to be honest with you. If you're a gamer though, like save some money, go with the S90C. Like I just think that the S90C can't be beat for gaming. A95L beats it, sure. Yep, that's for sure. I think the A95L is a better gaming TV, like picture quality wise. But still, there's just enough there for the S90C to say like that's the one I would go with. So I don't know. I would recommend OLED for sure though. I don't think I would go mini LED. If you're limited to 65-inch, I think the only reason to go mini LED is if you want to go bigger for cheaper. You know, like just think that mini LED is great, but the newer OLEDs, the brighter OLEDs like the S90C, the A95L, the G3, those can get to the same brightness levels as most of the mini LEDs we're talking about. So that's why I would just say go that route. Um, and then I do like the A75L as well, but I do think like the S90C in 65-inch might be the best deal if you're limited. And then if you want the best picture quality overall and you're fine with spending a little bit because your budget is 3500, then the A95L is the route that I would go if you wanted to stretch into that budget. So hopefully that answers your question. Sorry I missed the chat. I was just trying to find it the whole time, and for some reason I must have scrolled past it a bunch. Hey, we got Dylan in the house. What's up, man? How you doing? G4 would be crazy bright, probably rivaling mini LED. I mean, mini LED is already rivaled by the G3 and the S90C. So yeah, I mean the G4 is gonna be nice. I don't know how much more it's gonna be like brighter than the G3. I just hope that you can see an impact in the highlights. Like that's what I'm hoping for. I'm not expecting it to be like extremely brighter or anything like that. But I like the fact that it's gonna be in the 83-inch size with MLA. That's kind of cool. That's probably the thing that I'm most excited about. Do you think that the Broncos did Russell Wilson dirty? Well, they didn't cut him or anything yet, so I think I don't know. It's tough. That's a tough situation. I think it was kind of wrong what they did to him, though. It feels wrong, in a way. G3 65-inch is 1800 Costco last November. I think it's that price right now, is it? Or no, it was. No, that's the 55-inch. Was it that price in November? That's pretty cheap. I don't remember that. I mean, yeah, you're definitely gonna get better color brightness from the QD OLEDs. That's no doubt. All right, I'm looking through chat. I think we've caught up with chat. So that's cool. So we do know the best deal is like the S89C. I think that's clear to everybody. So that chrominance overshoot thing might have gotten fixed with the newer panel. So we'll see. We'll see. 83 G4 may be the play, but then you got FOMO once 2025 introduces FOLED, something like that. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you're always gonna have something being announced where you have FOMO. Like that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. But like, if you want to wait 2 years, it depends what you got right now. I guess it depends what you got. If you got something that you can like be happy sitting pretty with for a while, then waiting is never a bad option. Especially if you most recently bought a TV. What's up, Ari? It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. What's great about this is like whenever my camera dies, I got this webcam. I got my Mac laptop webcam. I can't speak, but yeah. And then I could be in this mode where like I could shrink this down and you don't even tell how bad this webcam is. So yeah, I think that's how I'm gonna do it now. Is I'm gonna just like end the streams with talking about prices and all that stuff, and just kind of giving you guys a pulse of the market in terms of like what's out there right now. What can we expect later? And is it worth waiting? In my opinion, it's probably worth buying right now. That the S89C is. I don't think you're gonna find a better deal for a while. I really don't. And we'll be sitting on, you'll be hearing hype. Like, no doubt, you're gonna hear hype about like the newer TVs when they come out. But I'll always mention that, hey, like, there's still like this S90C out there, the S89C, especially if they hold close to the same type of price. How much cheaper are they gonna get is a question I get. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the end cap is for the S89C. Best Buy models are tricky because they will cut them. Like, and I don't think that 1799 is necessarily the floor for it. Yeah, like 77-inch is definitely the best quality available right now. Are there any known issues with QD OLED second generation that would make you want to wait for third generation? That's a good question. I don't think it's been found to be like any glaring issues with second generation QD OLEDs. I think this is like a brightness war at the time. Like it's just a race to see who can get the brightest, and it's just the display companies, fighting each other, and the electronics companies are probably like, man, you're like, stop, stop. Like I don't know, maybe not, maybe they're not saying stop, but like I don't think they were necessarily demanding that they make brighter. I think the display companies are just like, hey, here you go, let's get everybody hype about the brighter technology. It's funny because I think like the display companies actually do more marketing than the actual electronics companies do sometimes. So we'll see. Best deals are this weekend. Pricing isn't an endless death spiral to a degree. Like once we start to see the newer models come out, you will see lower prices. So like you'll get closeouts, especially at like mom and pop stores. You'll get closeouts. You'll even see some closeouts at Best Buy and open box prices. Like definitely if you're like trying to wait for a deal and you're not buying this weekend for whatever reason, and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna wait until the closeouts, until the new models are released, you could potentially get a better deal on open box because they're trying to clear their open box out around that time, and they will go deep discounts on that. Like it's not as good as it used to be. Like it used to be where you could go to the Best Buy and talk a manager down like 50% almost. But like it's not like that anymore. They have cracked down on that a bit. Um, but you could get closeouts for sure. And this is probably the best time to buy, like, because the S89C, like, I don't see that going lower. I don't, but it wouldn't surprise me if it did. It would, I would say I would be more surprised by it not selling out before it went on sale even cheaper. Because, like, once this TV sells out, I think, once this TV sells out, it's not coming back. Well, it's like when people see the brightness measurements, it's just like a number, right? Like everybody's attached to numbers, but it's such like what I was explaining with the C3 and the A80L. It's like you, the numbers don't translate, like they just don't. So I don't know. It's one of the things people do definitely chase the brightness now. There's definitely nothing wrong with open box. Most of the time, it's fine. There's scenarios where like somebody will buy open box and they take it back because the uniformity sucks on a TV or something. There's definitely cases of that, but I guarantee you, like most people aren't doing that. Most people are buying a TV, taking it home, be like, duh, I don't know, man, my finances. I don't know if I want to do this. I maybe should go with a different model, or like this model is just not as good as I was hoping. Like buyer's remorse, or they take it home and they throw on one of these streams or something. They hear us talking about an S90C or an S89C, or they turn on Stop the FOMO and they hear him talking about the latest TVs, and then they're like, oh well, they'll take it back. And then so like most of the returns are all like buyer's remorse returns. I would say like working at Best Buy for the years that I did, most of it was like I changed my mind. I changed my mind. Like it was never like, okay, this was like terrible. There was cases where somebody would return something because like the uniformity was bad, but most of the time they would even say it. Like when they returned it, they would be like, "Ah, this TV quality is not as good. There's something wrong with the panel or something." I would say most returns are not because of bad panels. Yeah, and you can check it out. Like Classy's saying, like there's no issues with open box. You can check it out in the store. even. You can actually just ask them to put on some content, um, and they'll let you do that if it's hooked up and stuff. And worst case scenario, you take it home, you take it back. Dylan, thank you. Um, Thank you for the super chat. He says, I think OLED prices won't drop more for 5577, but with the rise large and mini LED, will there be pressure to lower the large 83-inch plus OLED options? That's a really good question. I think like you saw that there's margins there for them to drop it even further because Samsung dropped the S90C to about 3500. I think it's possible. I think that you could see like $3,000 83 inches sometime next year, like around closeout season. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna be like a dramatic drop in price for 83-inch sizes. And I also think that the 83-inch like C4 will be around the same price. But the G4 I think will actually go up in price because it has the MLA, and I think they're going to tax that onto it. Well, not really tax that, but I think it's just cost more for them. So naturally, the TV will be more, and they'll charge more for MSRP. My open box 65-inch A95L is perfect and will probably outlive my brand new 77 that keeps dying on me. Wow. So you're having problems with your 77, huh? That's a bummer, man. Do you think there's a chance that the G4 will hold its colors better in game mode than the G3 did? I never bought it and passed on it because the S95C because of the dropouts. So you passed on both of those TVs last year. Like, here's the thing about that whole entire situation. It's not new. It's not new. Like, it's just something that I brought to light more because of it being such a difference when it was outside of game mode. Like, so the color is so much better outside of game mode, and that's even enhanced now because of like MLA, right? But it's always had this problem where they drop the color luminance, and so it's not gonna look as good as say QD OLED in game mode, and it never did. Um, so that's something that they've always kind of done, and looking at it in that way, they would have to change the whole entire philosophy of the way they approach their game mode. I don't see them doing that, to be honest with you. Maybe they do because there was a lot of noise about it. Maybe they make a change now because of that, but I wouldn't expect it. I wouldn't hold my breath for it, to be honest with you. It's not a new thing. Like, that problem is not a G3 problem. It's not a C3 problem. It was a C2 problem. It was a C1 problem, and so on and so on. So, um, that's just the problem. LG just has a really mediocre game mode. They've always had it, and that's why I don't understand why they're looked at as like the best gaming TV. I've like always had a problem with that, and both Sony and Samsung have better game modes. So hopefully you kind of understand that. Like I wouldn't bank on it, is what I'm saying. And the S95C dropouts thing sucks. Like I really hate that happens because the One Connect box is definitely causing some problems when it comes down to that. And we all know that's the culprit. Like they didn't take long to figure out that was the culprit. Hopefully they did some sort of thing to the S95D's One Connect, but I doubt it. I highly doubt it. I don't think they're deep into the weeds like that. I really just don't think that they're that in tune with it being such a problem because it's such a problem that only maybe like 1% of people deal with. It's not something that's widely spread or widely reported. So I doubt they fixed the One Connect box this year. And I know you didn't ask that question, but I thought it would be a good time to like touch on it because you mentioned the dropouts. I think the best bet for most people this year is going to be like if you're buying a 77-inch, just get the S89C. I like really mean that. because the S90D is kind of like your next move, or the G4. So for gamers, I'm speaking specifically, you're gonna have that problem sometimes. So currently, no LCD is brighter than in HDR than QD OLED or G3. Yeah, I didn't see any indications of the QN90C being remotely anywhere close to the G3, which is wild. Like okay, in high APL scenes, like those big brightness scenes, like it can get brighter, but that's more so just like that's just how it is. It's always been that way. But like if we're talking about highlights, if we're talking about just the peak brightness in general, I didn't see a LCD TV come close to these OLED TVs. So, um, and then that all comes down to how they're controlling the backlight. It's wild how bright SDR has gotten for OLEDs, because that used to be a huge, huge weakness. There's absolutely no difference other than the base plate of the stand itself is different, slightly different. It's the same stand just without the base plate, and they've kind of filled in the gap of where the base plate would go. So other than that, though, it's the same. I haven't even okay. Let's see. I haven't even turned on active tone mapping on the S89C. Only get to watch HDR stuff at night. Actually, I wasn't a big fan of active tone mapping, to be honest with you. I really wasn't. To me, it like it didn't do anything for me. Like in game mode, I could get away with it. It looks good in game mode at times, but it wasn't like something I always put on in regular content. Like movies and stuff, I really don't put it on at all when I was using that TV. So like in that sense, I actually kind of preferred LG's dynamic tone mapping to a slight degree, just because it did sort of add to the picture a little bit, but it also did kind of raise the picture up in areas that I didn't really want it raised. So it's just like a fight. You're constantly fighting with your picture with the with dynamic tone mapping. Same thing with the active tone. That I was never sold on it. It can be brighter. It looks brighter, and it does like give you the sense of it being brighter because of that. But I just think it takes away from a lot of the picture quality for me personally. But it is good in gaming. I do like it in gaming. Yeah, that's a good point too. Like I was surprised actually when I found that, like comparing the QN90C to the S90C, like I actually found that it felt like the colors got brighter on the S90C, and I thought that that wouldn't be the case, but it kind of felt that way. And so like to your point, that might have been like what was going on at that moment. And you know what's interesting about that is I when I saw the prototype mini LED um that Sony did next to the S95C, in the particular scenes that I saw, um, I didn't feel like the Sony prototype mini LED had that issue. So that's kind of a cool thing. Something to look forward to, maybe to look into when we actually get those TVs to check if that's something that maybe they have addressed somewhat. Let's see. Yeah, but here's the thing about the G3 Classy that like I always kind of saw when I was comparing it to the S95C. There was certain content where the G3 actually just looked brighter. It just looked brighter, and I don't know if that even goes down even deeper to like maybe the master and display luminance thing, how the TVs are set. Like I don't know if it has anything to do with that, but the G3 at times definitely looked like much brighter than the S95C, and that was even when it was like in filmmaker mode. Um, and I had dynamic tone mapping off on both. But like that was something that I did notice that sometimes in certain content it was weird that S95C could look better than it, but in most content they looked about the same. Yeah, the Sony content was definitely the Sony prototype was shown with demo content, and it was demo content that was mastered for vivid mode intentionally. So it's definitely, geared to show that kind of stuff. No doubt about it. From what they told me there. So is that the demo content was mastered for vivid mode, and that's why they didn't use the mastering monitor to kind of compare there, because it really wasn't about showing the creator's intent there. More so, it was, and it because it was like graded for vivid mode, but still, it was designed for vivid mode at the end of the day. Um, this is interesting. I've actually never seen this. So active tone mapping seemed to work no matter what it was in. So you're saying that it doesn't work in HDR10 plus at all, huh? That's that's interesting. I don't know if that's a bug or if that's intentional. Like you said, maybe it does just override the tone mapping feature. I've never actually tried that, so that's something to test this year. Hey, thanks for pointing that out because I wasn't even thinking about that at all. It's crazy how much like little HDR10 plus I actually watch. So that's something I definitely got to test this year. Thanks for pointing that out. So like, don't worry about the specs differences on the S90C and the S89C. Definitely has HLG, so don't worry about that. Yeah, no, don't worry about that. It has HLG support. You're good. There would be no reason for it not to have HLG. It's the exact same TV. It's the exact same panel. Sometimes they just don't list certain features. Um, I mean, look, if you look at the S89C right now, it will say that like the panel is a regular OLED. Where is it at? Not a regular OLED. But I think it actually does say regular OLED. Um, which is like weird wording for it, but see what it says on Best Buy. Standard OLED. Okay, not regular OLED, but it says standard OLED. This is why everybody thought, well, not why everybody thought, the reason why everybody thought it was a WOLED is the fact that Flat Panels HD had a European spec sheet that said that it was using Evo technology, which is a WOLED technology. And then the reason why a lot of people thought that Best Buy's also was a WOLED was because it said standard OLED, and the refresh rate is marked as 120 hertz. But here's the thing. So you have the Motion Accelerator Turbo Pro, which is a 144 hertz thing, and then you scroll down and you'll see that it says that it is a quantum OLED. So it has quantum HDR. That's all only going to be marked on QD OLEDs. So there was definitely some weird specs like mixed up. Don't always go off of spec sheets. They lie to you. To a certain degree. They also tell the truth to a certain degree, which is why like we should have saw this coming. But that was released the same time the 77-inch was released, so everybody thought, oh yeah, they're both going to be um, WOLEDs, but their deal for the WOLED panels in those sizes didn't actually go through, or there was some sort of hiccup with it. This year they're going to have them. So That's why we have the S95D this year. Those are really going to be WOLEDs. But like if you look on this, you can see that it doesn't say Quantum HDR OLED. It says HDR OLED, and that's because this is a WOLED. And then this one says Motion Accelerator Turbo Plus because that is only going to be 120 hertz. Motion Accelerator Turbo Pro means that it can do 144 hertz. So that's the difference there. So yeah. And then you can see here the difference is where it says S90C 55-inch and 77-inch have the Quantum HDR OLED. So there's that. And then there's that. It's really weird wording. Sometimes I even get the wording confused myself. But yeah. All right. So I think I'm gonna catch up with chat and then we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys for stopping in. I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out if you haven't already. But let me go through chat really quick before I sign off and make sure that everybody's questions were answered. And if I miss somebody's questions, I apologize. We'll get to them in the comment section. If you have a question and I don't answer it here, ask it in the comment section. Said 477 chat messages this stream, and we got 107 viewers right now, so that's cool. Thank you guys for viewing. That's awesome. Where are we at here? KG in A95L for watching Netflix. Is it better watching Bravia built system or Apple? So you're talking like internal streaming versus using the Apple TV. I always say use an external streamer like Apple TV. There's just less problems in terms of things that can happen internally with streaming. I'm not a big fan of internal streaming. I've seen pretty bad examples from TVs from the internal apps, but I've also seen examples where the internal apps worked fine. But if I had to choose, I'd definitely go with the Apple TV for sure. Okay, yeah, that would make sense because it is like dynamic. You're right. That would be like if you had uh the option to enable dynamic tone mapping on Dolby Vision, it wouldn't make sense, right? That wouldn't work. So I didn't think about it like that. Yeah, I mean, like if you're gaming for sure, I probably would do the same thing. G3 under the QD OLEDs. I think even if you're not gaming, you can make an argument for the QD OLED over it. It just doesn't matter what it is. So that's why I think the S89C is such a good deal. All right, we are caught up. When's the next live stream? I'm gonna try to do it every week. I'm gonna do my best to try to do it every Friday. So we'll see if we can get that going. I also want to get some guests in from time to time. Maybe Classy can stop in sometimes, and Max. Definitely want to get this going. I like this new platform that I'm on. It's like just easy to control, and it's just as expensive as StreamYard is, so I'm happy with it. It's fine, and I can do 4K live streams. Right now it's 1440p, but I found a way I think to do 4K. It's just gonna be a delayed latency, which is fine because I don't really need like perfect latency to stream to you guys. Like it's okay if there's a little bit of a delay, so no worries there. And those live streams are gonna be fun. Gonna get these TVs this year. Gonna have higher quality streams. I'm looking forward to it, guys. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks everybody. Thank you, Y. I appreciate the kind words. And make sure you guys check out Classy's live stream tomorrow. I think he said it was 6 p.m. Eastern time. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, Classy. But definitely go check that out. He's going to be building a computer, which is going to be really fun to watch. And we'll be there talking and having a chat. And Classy is just the busiest man in the world. So yeah, I know, man. I feel it. So no worries, Classy. I definitely understand. But yeah, tomorrow will be kind of cool. Tomorrow will be kind of a birthday stream too, huh? Well, happy birthday, man. Definitely gonna be hanging out in stream. So everybody go over to Classy's stream tomorrow. It'll be very fun. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.